Chinese culture, it's said the bonds of marriage are arranged by the heavens. In the middle of the Tang Dynasty, the prime minister's beautiful daughter rejected wealthy suitors and defied her father to be with her one true, albeit poor, love. Unfortunately, soon after their marriage, her heroic and valiant Prince Charming went to war for 18 years. Today, we have an incredible tale about love, fate, and devotion that might even change how you look at the human experience. This video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. Learn Chinese now. Hey guys, welcome to Learn Chinese Now. I'm Jared Madsen, and we are going to dive into an amazing love story. In the year 794 AD, a boy named Xue Rengui was born into a poor family. 2 years later, a girl named Wang Baochuan was born into the family of the then Prime Minister Wang. Baochuan grew into a beautiful and kind-hearted young woman, and Xue Rengui into a principled and honorable young man, despite his humble roots. The heavens watched over these two children, waiting for the perfect time for their paths to cross. The Prime Minister had big dreams for his daughter. A fortune teller once told him that his daughter would eventually surpass her mother's nobility. So when Baochuan turned 16, he quickly began to look for a husband for her. Countless wealthy suitors came knocking, but she found herself completely and utterly uninterested. One night, she had a dream where she threw an embroidered ball from a high platform, and whoever caught it would become her betrothed. She looked down at the man who caught it, and his noble and heroic gaze made her heart flutter. When she woke up, his handsome face and burning eyes still lingered in her mind. She covered her face with a handkerchief, flustered, but she could still see his dashing features. Desperate, she confided in her maid, Yuan, who slyly suggested he might be the one. Baochuan discreetly went to the local Buddhist temple to pray to the gods for guidance, where she got a fortune slip with this prophecy: Hong Luan Xing Dong, when the red Luan star moves. The red Luan star is a symbol of marriage and love in Chinese astrology, and it moving, that implies auspicious developments in one's romantic life. Han Yao Yi Dai, await within the cold cave. This implies that there will be a long period of hardship. Qian Hua Xi Jin, the makeup is washed away, which symbolizes a shedding of the superficial. 29 之期, a period of 2 nines passes, as in the age of 18 or 18 years. 戎马孔总, in the hurried midst of war horses. This implies a time of change or turmoil. 夫贵妻荣, this means both husband and wife will flourish. This suggested a tale of love leading to hardship, a period of purification, and through chaos, achieving mutual success and happiness in marriage. The next day, Baochuan told her father about the dream and asked to choose her husband by tossing an embroidered ball. The Prime Minister approved, had a pavilion arranged for the event, and decreed that only well-dressed suitors were to approach the area and that the destitute were to be turned away. His daughter's time had come at last. Xue Rengui was hurrying through the city, minding his own business, when something flew at it. By instinct, he caught it with his hands. Looking up, he saw a beautiful girl on a raised platform smiling down at him. Suddenly, he became the center of attention in the now chaotic street. Deaf to his objections, the family servants dragged him into the Wang mansion anyway. The Prime Minister was livid. How could his servants be so lax in guarding the area? How could they allow just some random nobody to catch the ball and cause such a ruckus? He tried to bribe the destitute young man to leave and pretend nothing happened. But Xue Rengui, out of honor, refused to take advantage of the situation and accept the money. The minister took this as a demand for his daughter's hand in marriage, and he only got angrier. Baochuan was ecstatic. Xue Rengui was indeed the man of her dream, and despite his modest appearance, he had an aura of nobility and valor. She boldly interjected, "Father, my marriage was announced throughout the city, and now fate has brought Xue Rengui to catch it in front of everyone. If we go back on this announcement, it will bring shame upon our family for denying common folk and valuing only wealth. I do not fear poverty and choose to marry Xue Rengui." The Prime Minister, already infuriated that this poor man was trying to reach above his means, was further enraged. by his normally obedient daughter's defiance. Fine, then it's either this family or him. Tearfully, Bǎochuan stood her ground and chose the latter, and her father disowned her on the spot, and the couple were kicked out of the mansion. It was all too crazy and happened too quickly for Xue Rengui to absorb and digest until he was back on the street. As they arrived at his humble cave, Bǎochuan remembered the words of the prophecy, "Await within the cold cave," and the makeup is washed away. This is how it was meant to be. Her determination only grew stronger, and the next day, with the help of friends and curious neighbors, they had a simple wedding. Xue Rengui was still in a daze. The joy of knowing that his wife, against all odds, entrusted him with her life was abated by the fear that his life would be too hard for her to bear. She pawned her earrings at Liu Ji's pawn shop for some money, but that was hardly enough. Without many options, he decided to roll the dice and attempt the imperial exam. And maybe, just maybe, he'd get lucky. Bǎochuan was hesitant, but she supported him. They said goodbye with heavy hearts and tears in their eyes, but little did they know how long this parting would last, with only their mutual devotion keeping them going. Bǎochuan now had to manage everything alone: food, firewood, and other basic necessities, while also having to endure the agony of loneliness and longing. Her skilled needlework helped her earn a bit of money now and then, but for the most part, she relied on painstakingly foraging for wild vegetables to stave off hunger. But hunger wasn't the only thing she had to fight. Not unlike Odysseus's wife Penelope, Bǎochuan was not without suitors. But seeing her steadfast heart, protector deities helped shield her from the wicked. A wealthy young man on horseback once tried to grab her by force when she ignored his offer of a lavish life as a concubine. She suddenly felt like she was carried away as if by magic, and a mysterious force scared the horse, which bucked the man to the ground. Other malicious men tried to have their way with her, but they were met with otherworldly obstacles, sudden injuries, or supernatural confusion, a state called 鬼打墙, or ghost hitting the wall. Okay, so this 鬼打墙 is a phenomenon in Chinese folklore where a person feels trapped and unable to find their way out, as if stuck in some sort of endless loop and not getting anywhere. As she stood her ground against these nefarious men, her protector deities kept close watch, a testament to the belief that the divine protect the righteous. If only we could have protector deities too, right? Maybe we do. I can't speak for the deities, but there is something that can protect you on the web. These days, plenty of nefarious parties want to track what you do online, be it advertisers, hackers, or worse. But Surfshark can be your digital defender. Surfshark is a VPN, or virtual private network, that creates a private tunnel from you to its remote servers and hides your identity by making it seem like you're at that distant location rather than where you actually are, keeping you and your information safe from the internet's sketchy suitors. Did you know that when you shop online, some websites actually change their prices based on the location and data? Well, Surfshark can keep you anonymous and help you stay frugal. Or are you a digital nomad out wandering the world like Xue Rengui, working away from home? Surfshark encrypts all of your data and keeps you safe while surfing on public Wi-Fi no matter where you are. So for less than the price of a bubble tea, you can get this peace of mind for yourself. Just click the link in the description and use my special promo code LCN. That's promo code LCN, and you'll receive an exclusive deal with an extra 4 months of safe surfing completely free. If you are not in any way completely satisfied, there's no lifelong commitment here with Surfshark's 30-day refund guarantee. So be bold and browse bravely. Before long, 6 years had passed. She often saw him in dreams, clad in a pristine white robe and gleaming silver armor, brandishing a shining silver spear like a warrior of heaven. But this time, she saw him falling gravely ill. She prayed to the heavenly deities and offered to share his sickness for his survival. Soon after, Bǎochuan herself battled the same illness until a young beggar girl came to aid her and helped her recover. The heavens were still on her side. 8 years in, a frail old woman came to the cave begging for water. Bǎochuan gladly obliged, but she suddenly collapsed. Bǎochuan took her in, let her sleep in the bed, and nursed her back to health. When they ran out of food, Bǎochuan refused to let the old woman beg and went to forage and fetch water herself. Seeing Bǎochuan's selflessness, she insisted on adopting Bǎochuan as her daughter in gratitude and, after a month, fully recovered. "My dear daughter, I must take my leave. I cannot continue to burden you. Here is a patchwork bag filled with a single coin. Take it. Take this begging bowl too. Use it to gather rice. Remember my words, child. These are precious treasures. Do not shed tears when I leave. They are exhausting and distress your loved ones." Bǎochuan watched as the elderly woman left and, holding back her tears, poured her remaining rice into the bowl. Just a little bit that it barely covered the bottom. To her surprise, the next day, the rice in the bowl had doubled. The old woman wasn't kidding about it being a precious treasure. She discovered that as long as there was some rice in the bowl, it would refill itself by the next day. So she would always leave a little bit there and use the rest to cook porridge. When a famine struck the region and many turned to begging for survival, she would offer them wild vegetable porridge. And after they left, grateful for the food, the amount of porridge mystically remained the same. In her charity, she also realized that the patchwork bag was magical as well. She gave a beggar the one coin, but another appeared in the bag within minutes. When she had to buy necessities like salt, she was able to pull out 8 coins in a row. Bǎochuan was then convinced that the elderly woman was no human, but a heavenly sage. She knelt and prayed to the heavens, giving thanks for their protection. One day, Bǎochuan's parents came to take her home. Her mother, seeing her modest attire and the pot of porridge, burst into tears. "How can my child suffer like this? Leave this depressing place and come home, I beg you." Her father scoffed at the single coin in the patchwork bag. "Give up on Xue Rengui and stay away from those beggars. Do not bring shame upon our family in these trying times. Come home. I will find you a proper match so you can live the life that you deserve." Bǎochuan refused. "I cannot betray my husband. I will wait for his return. I have heard the boy has gone to war and could be dead for all you know. If you continue waiting here, you will end up a beggar like the rest of them. You must come home with me right now." Bǎochuan remained undeterred but could only weep as her furious father stormed off with her sobbing mother. She felt guilty for upsetting her parents, but also anxious for her husband's safety. She remembered the words of the elderly woman and wiped away her tears. A beggar appeared and told her, "I begged for some rice to give to you. Please don't cry. You are a good person." A band of beggars then came saying, "We did some work to get some cloth for you, monsieur." One added, "When my brother heard that Mrs. Xue had been waiting for years for her husband to return, he burst into tears. You are incredible." The old lady was right. Tears were exhausting. With these words of encouragement, she steeled her will and pressed on. 10 years after her first visit, she went to the temple to see the abbot again as instructed. He foretold that a great calamity would befall Xue Rengui the following year, and that she should diligently recite scriptures to protect him. Indeed, the next year, she did dream of her husband battling through a sea of enemy soldiers, his white robe filled with blood. Fearing that her good deeds would not be enough to protect him, she prayed in all 10 directions and told the heavens she would sacrifice her own blessings for his safe return. The deities were deeply moved by Bǎochuan's selflessness. Some were struck by the beautiful portrayal of the role bestowed upon her, while others marveled at how life was truly a journey of self-cultivation. She devoted herself to spiritual growth and great hardship in that cold cave, only wishing for her husband's safety and the well-being of others. It was clear that she was the perfect performer for this play of destiny. So, what about her husband? What actually happened to him? After leaving home, Xue Rengui passed the imperial exam and began a journey of military service, initially as a foot soldier, but his valor and determination eventually made him a general. However, in his 6th year at war, he fell victim to a deadly epidemic that swept through the army. In his feverish state, he saw a heart-wrenching glimpse of his wife offering to take his illness. This haunting vision compelled him to journey to a faraway temple and pray for her health. Thankfully, the results of his divinations proved favorable, but he diligently continued to offer prayers at every temple he encountered. In the 11th year, he narrowly cheated death when a spear was thrust at his heart, but then a brave soldier jumped in and took the hit on his arm. In righteous fury, he pulled the wounded soldier onto his horse and charged forth with a ferocity that terrified the enemy. As his white battle robe turned red with blood, the only thought in his mind was surviving for Bǎochuàn. His heroism against these impossible odds brought him fame and honor, and he elevated the wounded soldier, Yan, to his personal guard. The two shared a bond of brotherhood forged in the face of death. In their drinking sessions, he would fondly reminisce about his wife Bǎochuàn, but the glory only made him reminisce about simpler times, about a life without bloodshed, and about Bǎochuàn. How she once accidentally burnt some pancakes, but served him the good ones while secretly eating the burnt ones herself. How her hands were cut and raw from tattered knives and knew to ask the knife sharpener to not sharpen them too quickly. How she had pawned the jewels she had worn on her wedding day to help them get by, and how she worried that he didn't have enough money for his journey abroad. Tears welled up in his eyes as he reflected on his wife's kindness and loyalty. When they parted, she promised to remain faithful and wait for his return, to which he promised to earn glory and return in splendor. Yan was deeply moved and was in awe of a woman willing to give up wealth and status to marry a poor soldier, living a life of risk and sacrifice. His general's fierce commitment was a promise to his wife, and she was worthy of such unwavering dedication. One morning, in the 18th year apart, Bǎochuàn awoke to the soothing call of a magpie. She decided to mend some clothes in the yard, and as she finished up, noticed a grand procession in the distance. She packed up and went back inside, but soon heard a knock at the door. She went and opened it. To her surprise, saw a proud young man before her, and even more unexpectedly, her husband standing just behind him. Wang Baochuan and Xue Rengui looked into each other's eyes with glistening tears and knew that no words were necessary. He draped his cape over his wife. With a gentle smile, he whispered, "Let's go home." The couple lived happily ever after. Yan continued serving Xue Rengui as an assistant and guard. On a visit to the temple to meditate, the abbot explained to them that the general was once a heavenly warrior and his wife a celestial fairy, fated to marry each other, and she was destined to return to heaven as a goddess through her 18 years of sacrifice and self-cultivation. In the year 859 AD, at the age of 66, Xue Rengui and 64-year-old Wang Baochuan peacefully passed away, leaving the world with a powerful tale of responsibility. On the part of Xue Rengui's striving to fulfill his duties and promises, and loyalty. On the part of Bǎochuan's 18 years of unwavering commitment and steadfast strength. All right, that's it for today. I hope everyone enjoyed the story. See you next time. 再见.